And if I don't, maybe that's the end of the road for me. It's a nightmare fight for Dillian Whyte, coming in with no form or activity.
It's just like step by step, fight by fight. If you're gonna ask me like what's my plan in this division, it's to knock Dillian Whyte out, I guess.
And what he will do, maybe next step we will have, I am thinking about Joshua with him, something like this.
Everyone portray him as a superhuman and as you know, so yeah, that's how I'm approaching the fight. I'm fighting Superman.
Tyson Fury has sounded the alarm for young boxing star Moses Itauma, warning him not to get overconfident ahead of his big step-up fight against Dillian Whyte.
For Moses, I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out the ring. But, you know, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher to head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him.
Fury didn't hold back and said this could go badly if Itauma underestimates the danger, just like when Jared Anderson got stopped by Martin Bakole. The heavyweight legend said Whyte may be older and has been out of the ring for a while, but he still hits very hard and should not be taken lightly. It's a big step up for Itauma, who hasn't faced anyone at Whyte's level yet. Fury pointed out that while Whyte may not be in his prime anymore, his experience and punching power still make him dangerous.
Yeah, that's a fucking good fight actually, especially for Moses. I think it's a very good time to fight Dillian. He's had a couple of years out the ring. But, you know, make no mistakes, Dillian Whyte is a massive puncher to head and body. I know he's taking it very serious. I'm speaking to Ty Mitchell, who's in training camp with him. And looking forward to the fight. You know, it's a big step up for Moses because he hasn't really fought anybody on Dillian's level. The old Dillian, it was a couple of years ago. It's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be?
Fury compared this upcoming bout to the shock loss Jared Anderson suffered against Martin Bakole, a fight where many thought the young American would win easily, but ended up getting overwhelmed. He said that nobody knows how much Whyte has left, but this fight could show if Itauma's rise is coming too early or if he's ready for the big leagues. That's why Fury believes this fight is a must-watch. Still, Fury had kind words for Itauma too. He called him a talented and smart young boxer who listens and learns fast. He said he's like a sponge, soaking up every bit of advice given to him.
Potential. I think it does have the potential to do what Martin Bakole did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours, and that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sponge. You tell him something, he absorbs it and he listens. And that's the great thing about the young kids who's coming up. And he's only 20 years old. I told him a few years ago, forget about breaking records, take your time, you've only got one career, and just enjoy it, because I remember when I was 19, 20, and now fucking 36 has gone like that, very quick.
On the other side, Eddie Hearn, one of the top boxing promoters, also had something to say. While he praised Itauma and admitted it's a tough matchup, he didn't think it would be an easy night for Dillian Whyte. Hearn said Whyte is nearing the end of his boxing career and hasn't been very active. Even though the payday is great, he warned that it's a difficult style matchup and could be a real nightmare for Whyte. He admitted that Whyte is brave and always takes big fights, but this one could be a real challenge.
Who has been so inactive. You know, I look at it and say, is he kind of reached the age where he's like, look, it's a massive payday, I'll roll the dice, you know, and if I don't, maybe that's the end of the road for me. It's a nightmare fight for Dillian Whyte, coming in with no form or activity against someone like Moses Itauma, who's just red hot and on fire. But it's a great bit of matchmaking, I think, for Moses Itauma, and it's a real step up. I mean, as much ability as Moses has got, I keep saying, he hasn't fought anyone yet. So this is his first legit test, you know. And I do, you know, I love Dillian, but I do expect Moses to win in great style.
Whyte's coach Buddy McGirt opened up about the game plan and said they have no intention of rushing in. Instead of going toe-to-toe with the young lion early, the plan is to take Itauma into deep waters, the later rounds of the fight, where he hasn't been tested before. McGirt believes that if the fight drags on, Whyte's experience and toughness will come into play, giving him the best shot at turning the tables.
I mean, we can't go out and try to gun. He's young. These youngsters are fast, you know what I mean? So we got to get him into, you know, these deep waters. That's the key. Got to get him into deep waters where he hasn't been.
As for Moses Itauma, his rise has been fast and exciting. The 20-year-old has knocked out opponent after opponent, leading some fans to call him the next Mike Tyson. In fact, when he first turned professional, Itauma was openly chasing Tyson's record as the youngest heavyweight champion ever. Tyson had become champ at just 20 years old when he beat Trevor Berbick in 1986. Moses was on track to break that record, but with timing and fight availability not working out, it just didn't happen.
Staying with Saturday night, someone who was meant to fight was Dillian Whyte. We talked about him moments ago. He's now focusing on a big old fight in August. He's in talks to fight elite prospect Moses Itauma, who boasts a perfect record of 12 fights, 10 knockouts in those 12 fights as well. How good is Itauma? Because we first heard of him about maybe 18 months ago. He came in the studio after maybe 4 or 5 fights, and we were just in awe of just his size. Yeah, and he moves about like a middleweight.
No, he's so good, so good. I think that, and I've said this and I've had idiots online criticize me, but I mean it. He's probably similar to Tyson in terms of his stature. He's a little bit bigger than Tyson. Mike Tyson we're talking about here, but he's a better mover than Mike Tyson, like a bit more fluid.
Despite that, Itauma isn't discouraged. He said that now he's just focused on going step by step and fight by fight. He's not obsessed with records anymore. He just wants to knock out Dillian Whyte and prove that he belongs at the top.
Big test for it.
When I first turned professional, was obviously breaking Mike Tyson's record. I'm just a world champion. We couldn't do that, so now it's just like step by step, fight by fight. If you're gonna ask me like what's my plan in this division, is to knock Dillian Whyte out, I guess.
That confidence has made him a fan favorite and got the attention of big names like Turki Al Sheikh, who even hinted that Itauma could be a future opponent for Alexander Usyk. Taking to Twitter, His Excellency wrote, "I want to see Usyk against Itauma. This is the fight." Whyte, however, isn't going down without a fight. He said people are forgetting what he's done in the sport. Yes, Itauma is the new guy, knocking everybody out, and there's a lot of hype. But Whyte reminded everyone that hype doesn't win fights. He said many times in boxing, a young star is built up, but then things go wrong when they're pushed too fast. And heavyweight boxing, according to Whyte, is the most unpredictable of them all. One punch can change everything.
He's dangerous. Listen, like I said earlier, he's been compared to Mike Tyson and all these ferocious guys, you know. And I look at the comparison. Who have I ever been compared to in the 80s and the 90s? Not even. Let me see. Who is there? Not even a gatekeeper, a journeyman. So, you know, it's the biggest fight of my life and career. You know, obviously, everyone's saying how great he is, or this he is, and this and the other. So, yeah, I'm approaching it with that mindset. It's the biggest, hardest fight. The hardest puncher, the quickest puncher, the fastest guy, the strongest guy, the most intelligent, the most patient boxer. Everyone portray him as a superhuman and as you know. So yeah, that's how I'm approaching the fight. I'm fighting Superman.
Whyte also said he's always taken the hardest and most dangerous fights, and he's not scared now either. He knows people are counting him out, but he said he's been counted out before. He even brought up the old fight between David Haye and Carl Thompson. Back then, Haye was the hot favorite, but Thompson, seen as past his prime, shocked everyone. Whyte believes the same kind of upset can happen again.
I took it right away, even without even knowing how much they pay me and when the fight was. I took it right away. Listen, they're trying to feed me to the wolves. They're trying to feed me to the wolf and make me get torn apart by the pack. But what you don't understand is, I've been an alpha male. I've been at the bottom of the pack. I've been in the middle of the pack. I've been at the top of the pack. You know, maybe I'm an older wolf, but shit, I still got fucking teeth, man. I still got teeth, and I got 2 metal ones too. That last long, you know. I got teeth, and I'll bite the fuck out of someone, you know. Don't play me. I'll fuck someone up, you know what I mean? So don't let my.
He also got personal during his interviews, talking about his rough childhood in Brixton. He said he had to survive on the streets, steal food, and hustle from a young age. Whether it was selling glass Fanta bottles or farming to earn money, he had to fight and struggle his whole life. That's why, in his own words, fighting is what he knows best. He added that over the years, he's worked on becoming a better human being, but fighting and being around tough environments is where he feels at home.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. When I look back and say, you know what I mean, little old me, you know what I mean, you know, I remember I came from Jamaica with a small rucksack full of clothes. You know, nothing, not even you know what I mean, into where, you know, where I've achieved and where I am. You know, no educational background, no schooling, nothing. A massive family. My mom raising a shoestring budget. Big up to mom. Mom's a proper G.
Meanwhile, one of Itauma's early fans, Lawrence Okoli, now sees him as a potential rival. Okoli trained alongside Itauma when Moses was still in school, often showing up to the gym in his school uniform. Back then, Okoli saw the potential, but now that Itauma's getting big fights like this one against Whyte, Okoli admitted that it shifts the dynamic. If Itauma wins, they could end up facing each other in the future.
I know you fought CBS, who was a guy who shared so many rounds with, but you was really one of the first people to spar Moses, really sort of make noise about him when he was sort of 15 or so. So now, considering almost a heavyweight rival, is that a weird dynamic for yourself?
It's not weird at all. It's kind of I don't want to say expected, because I didn't expect him to rise that quickly, if I'm honest with you. But he passes the eye test easily. Do you know what I mean? So you do expect him to get to world level, and he then becomes a rival. For example, I was looking for the Dillian Whyte fight. He got the Dillian Whyte fight. So that instantly, do you know what I mean? That creates that kind of, you know, at any point, you know, he wins this fight. It could be Lawrence Moses, it could be...
Another twist came when Derek Chisora, a past opponent of Whyte, admitted he turned down the same fight offer. Chisora even called Whyte to ask him why he was taking such a risky fight against someone so young and dangerous. He messaged Itauma and jokingly told him to go easy on Whyte, saying if the fight goes past 4 rounds, then Whyte is in serious trouble.
Listen, I say to everybody, the money must be right, because you know, there's no light end of that tunnel, to be honest with you. You know, I did message him. I was like, listen, I don't know why you're taking that fight, for what reason. And he goes, oh, he don't care, you know, my friend, you know. So I was like, listen, just be careful. And I messaged Moses. I'm like, Moses, just fight him, but don't put him to sleep that badly, basically. And I wish him all the best. You know, I'll be there to support it.
Chisora believes that with Itauma's youth, speed, and elite training, Whyte doesn't have much of a chance. He even said that winning the lottery might be more likely than Whyte pulling off an upset.
Mate, it's like you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itauma, let's be honest about it.
Whyte didn't back down and fired back, reminding Chisora that he beat him twice, including a brutal knockout in their second fight. He said he's not in boxing to wait around and that he's a fighter, not someone who hides from challenges.
He's a nasty human being, you know, he's a nasty, and also he likes to bring up people's past and people's previous history and belittle them and shove shit in their name, but bro, you shouldn't do that, because you're a scum. There's records of your scumness, bro. You know, like you talk about people beating that, bro. It's like I'm not here to even go on about him, but he's a scumbag. Just look in Derek Chisora. Put Derek Chisora's name on YouTube and look in Derek and Google and look at Derek Chisora. He's a scum. He's scum. You know what I mean? You know, back in the day, I beat him, I helped him out, I put him on my undercards, helped him, give him opportunities, bring him back to the thing. We fought again. I've been respectful to him. I even say give him credit, but he's a prick. You know, Derek is an asshole. You know, someone like that is poison. Just the way he talks, the way he looks, the way he carries on.
All in all, the build-up to this fight has been full of opinions, warnings, and predictions. Fury's concern is real. He knows how dangerous Whyte can be. Hearn sees the matchmaking as brilliant but dangerous for Whyte. McGirt has a clear strategy. Itauma is focused on the future, while Whyte is digging into his past to find the hunger to shock the world one more time.
Do you think it makes sense for both guys?
Look, Dillian's in the business. He obviously wants paydays, but he's in he wants another shot at the title, and he wants to get himself into a position to do that. And for him, looking at all the fighters, all the organisations. You look at Moses. Moses is ranked #1 now by the WBO. So if he were to fight Moses, then that puts him in the #1 spot if he were to beat Moses.
This isn't just a young prospect versus a fading veteran. It's a real test for both men. For Itauma, it's a chance to prove he's the real deal. For Whyte, it's possibly the last big shot to remind the world who he is. All eyes now turn to August 16th in Riyadh, where we'll find out who's right and who gets left behind.
Moses is at a stage now where where I feel that he, you know, with every fight he's had, we're increasing the quality of the opposition, and he's ready for the next big step up, and it has to be against a recognisable name.
So
is this? Let me make it a supposition that this is potentially going to happen, and you don't have to comment on it. But is it the kind of fight that you want to see Moses in now?
Yes. Yeah.
And if it were Dillian, what does it say about Dillian? Is it the sort of fight that he would really fancy?
Well, if the fight took place, then obviously he would fancy it.
Do you think it's the right fight for both of these guys at this stage of their careers, Frank? Because they're at the opposite ends of their careers, aren't they? But
so there you have it. A fight full of questions, risks, and massive stakes. Will Moses Itauma prove he's the future of heavyweight boxing? Or will Dillian Whyte turn back the clock and shock the world one more time? With legends warning, trainers plotting, and rivals watching closely, this is one you can't afford to miss. What do you think? Will youth and speed win the night, or will experience and grit come out on top? Let us know your predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Ring Rivalry for all the latest fight previews, reactions, and behind-the-scenes access. Hit that bell so you never miss a punch. This is Ring Rivalry, where the real fight talk lives.